Okay, and we are live. Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your ever Shorty, and today I'm reviewing Forever Forward from Scout Comics, and I'm going to be starting with some stuff that was disappointing in it. I don't know if this is going to turn people off, but I want to make sure you're all aware that there's minor, insignificant concerns, but I want to get them out of the way. First off, the actual concept of the story is a sci-fi time travel thing, and it's basically the idea that you can't travel forward in time because traveling could cause a whole bunch of problems. That's a cool idea, but it's not the most original thing. I mean, yes, Futurama did have a backwards time travel, you also had a forwards one by the same reason, and Umbrella Academy did the same thing. There's also some like genuinely amazing art in this, but it seems to work way better on the large scale. There's a couple of times when you get some close-ups, human interactions, and some of the facial feature crosses a little bit flat. It's not the end of the world, but it's there. There is a weird sentence in the middle of the comic, like bang smack in the middle. If you open up it where the staples are, there is right here. What are you working on here, Lewis? Why does Thing have lasers and gas? Why does Thing? I don't know. Why does this thing? Why does this? I feel like this is either a typo or an editing or a proofreading thing, and it feels like with how polished and professional like AWA and Ablaze and Vault looking, it just felt a bit odd. And finally, and the least significant of them, there's a whole bunch of double page spreads in this. Like almost everything is double page spreads, and it looks absolutely amazing. So it's weird that there's 4 pages in the middle that aren't, and it just puts me off a little bit. Couldn't give you a better reason than that for not liking that thing, but honestly, I love how everything else in this comic book. Right, so those are my minor little things. Now let's get to stuff I do like about it. I'm going to start with the artwork because, guys, so pretty. This first page here. That is, I mean, yes, one of the few that's not a double page because you've got the title page there, obviously, but it's still a full page and it is beautiful. I mean, I'm not actually going to get much detail on it. I need to change a couple of light bulbs, so you're not going to see it as well as I want you to. But the coloring, the detail, the perspective, the shading, it glows, it jumps. It's everything I want out of architectural and landscape kind of thing. And there's a few pages like that in here where it is just full page spread kind of thing with a few panels here and there, and just beautiful perspective and coloring and light. Yeah, artwork is in 99% of the time completely off the charts good, exactly the kind of stuff I like, and it isn't even overly detailed. It knows to kind of take it a little bit easy on the fine detail and let you just enjoy the spectacle of it. Maybe that's why it doesn't quite work in some of the close-up stuff, but it's far from a deal breaker for me. The writing, we're going to actually talk a little bit more about the plot on this one because yes, this is a time travel sci-fi thing where it's about going forward in time and never backwards. There's certainly going to be some tie-ins to other plot points within that, but I don't really want to get into that too much. It'll probably take a lot longer. What we're going to do is talk about the guy who created this time travel device and who he is and his character. Because they do concentrate mainly on the one main protagonist in this first issue, it means that the characters are given a little bit of a short shrift or a little bit thin. I don't want you to think that's like just bad writing. They are given little moments and some quite funny little quirks and some good funny lines as well. But they're clearly giving you more of a heads up on who your main character is. And it's essential because he's not a nice guy and you need to get your head around to that very quickly. You're probably not going to like him. And they make sure of this in a bunch of really fun ways. For a start, he's very much a narcissist. There's times when he is offered gifts and help and advice from people, and for every single time from the officers, and he simply cannot accept it. And it doesn't come across as overtly malicious, but he simply exists in a world where he is the best, and he is weird that anyone would even try to help him. Like, how would they know what he's going through? Like, do they even know what he's going through? They simply can't understand him, so how could they offer him any advice? And if they do offer advice or help or gifts or anything, or even an intervention to what happens, he is completely blasé about the whole thing. He's cold and distant and completely incapable of realizing that other people might care about him in a way other than his professional accomplishments. And here we get to my favorite bit about it, because there's an awful lot of characters who might be written like that, who could then have some kind of get out of jail free card. They could be doing something for noble concerns. They could be trying something for the betterment of all mankind, and that's why they are so distant and so focused in on their work. This is not the case. And yes, he's certainly doing something impressive. I mean, it's time travel. Yay, do time travel. Do crimes. But it's more the fact that he doesn't really care too much about like the after effect for humanity for that one, because he uses Edison as an example of the person he would like to be remembered as. And a lot of people might not know too much about Edison, but he's a name that people know, and that's fine. It's great. That should be a lofty goal. However, I know Edison was a terrible human being who tortured and murdered animals and screwed over his competition and was generally a human piece of filth. And he's remembered because he did all these things at a time when it was perfectly acceptable, and he wrote the history on it. I think making that guy as the main character's hero is just a brilliant writing trick. I absolutely love it. Keep it up. If you do read this, I'm not going to say you're not going to see a few things that might not be perfect for you. Totally get that. This is not a perfect work of art, but it is interesting, it's captivating, and it looks fantastic. That's it from me this week. I'll be back on Tuesday. Until then, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.